Shame, shame. Well, greetings. This is Savannah from Black Witch Coven. It is Sunday, March 15, 2020, and this week I'm going to answer a few questions. One of the questions was around my comment or my thoughts on Gordon Winterfield's book, The Demons of Magick. There's a question about that, and I'll answer that in a way that's really that's honest to me. There was also a question surrounding someone coming in or desiring to come into the dark arts from the Wiccan way. And I'm going to answer her question because so many of you out there, when I quickly look down in the comments and I just dive in there very quickly when I first launch a video, there's still so many questions about how and what and da-da-da. And I always say jump over to the website because we have beginners where to start in black magic, and we've spent a lot of time going through this. So if you want free information, if you don't want to do a course, go over there because it's all there. But I will answer your question very quickly. Thirdly, there's a question by a guy called Mark, and I think he's in Puerto Rico. He has some neighbors over there, and it's like a tribal family that's surrounding his house, and he's really asking for ways to deal with this situation. All right, but first, let me share with you my week just for 5 minutes. Yes, we've been getting lots of emails about the damn coronavirus as well. Look, I've really been hesitant to say anything about this because I feel like the news is doing a fabulous job of sensationalizing this issue right now. I mean, the way we handle a crisis these days is embarrassing, to say the least. Without information, our leaders, our decision makers, make knee-jerk reaction decisions that send society into a state of panic. And what I will say is that all you need to do is go onto the websites. I mean, if you're watching the internet here, you've got the internet, right? And even this morning, just thought, let me just fact check some stuff in case, I can just be coming across as a bitch, which I probably am anyways. So what do I mean by fact check? Right now, get on the internet, and if you really wanted to understand the leading causes of death, jump on the cdc.government and then put in leading causes of death. And what you'll see is how many people died in the USA, and here they've got a table for 2017. Heart disease, 647,000 people. Cancer, 699,000 people. Accidents, 169,000. Influenza, 55,000. That was just last year. Self-harm, suicide, 47,000. The way the media sensationalizes this issue is that we do have a virus that is highly contagious. And so to certain sectors of the community, of course, it's spreading fast. So if we jump on the internet again to fact check. So what I'm really looking for is the coronavirus deaths, because if this is so serious, you've got people running to the store trying to stock up on toilet paper. Why should I also join in that line? Am I at risk? Now, when we have a look at the age of the coronavirus deaths, what the media should be saying is that, all right, if you're over 60, there's a 3.6% chance you'll die if you contract the coronavirus. 70, 79, 8% chance you'll die. 80 plus, that's where it really, it's interesting. It's a 14.8% chance you'll die, and confirmed rates of death only in that category is 21.9%. Now, under 50 years old or 49 years old, it's not even 1% of people would die. So jump on there and have a look. We've got a 10 to 19-year-olds. Remember, a lot of the schools are shutting down because of the seriousness of it. 0.2%. If you really want to go over to the CDC and get into it, when you look at the other, as I said, when you have a look at the leading causes of death in the USA, when you jump in and say, for example, look at, for children, if we're worrying about the kids, the influenza, there's more chance of your child dying of influenza every year than what there is with the coronavirus. So why are we sensationalizing just this disease? There's so many out there that the average person is more likely to die from. So I'm not trying to minimize the seriousness of any disease, but we have to look at it in the container that it should be placed in. Is it really worth all the coverage that it's getting right now, and to have the flow-on effect into our communities? The bigger question is, what are we going to do next time that there is a health scare or a health issue? Or say, for example, aliens land. What I'm really concerned about is the way that our leaders, our decision makers, are just creating all of this drama, making out like this is the worst thing ever, when there's so many other things equally or even worse that's going to harm us as a society. So I don't know. This is my shame bell. Shame, shame, shame. The truth is, you shouldn't visit your grandparents in the nursing home, and that's about it. So if you're wondering what spells or rituals to do to protect you during this time, well, gosh, don't panic. Stress is the biggest killer, right? So don't panic. If you're doing protection rituals or you have your protection talismans and things like that, then that's fine, okay? If you're genuinely healthy and that type of stuff, then this is going to pass. It's just another one of those things. If you're sick on a lot of antibiotics or you have pre-existing conditions, you're at risk. So maybe get a better relationship with your deity and ask for health, and ask for whatever issue that you have, bring those blessings your way. But you have to be smart about this. The worst issue is really, for example, if you're affected by the coronavirus. We had an email by a good client yesterday who is in the airline industry, and of course they're cutting everything, hours and all of that sort of things. In this case, there's black magic spells that you can do to really protect your job. And if you're working with a demon, of course, Belial is really the demon that you want to be working with. Now, the other wonderful story I wanted to share this week is in relation to Clonic, our wonderful demon Clonic. And a client of ours was really working with Clonic for finding new paths for money to come towards him, some specific ideas he had for that. And it was really interesting. And I'm not going to say his name. I know he watches the videos. But I laughed and laughed and laughed because I was so happy for him. What happened is that as magic does work in unusual ways, he met somebody who ends up buying him a $55,000 car and then puts all these bells and whistles on this car because he has special needs. And so essentially a $60,000, $70,000 vehicle, and gives him this damn car. So, I mean, wow. He said, yeah, it's really starting to manifest now. And, when he gave the example, I jumped off my seat. I was like so happy for him. But once a lot of times it's not instant. You have to keep working your relationship with the spirit. You keep doing and layering these rituals. And once I believe that the demon or the spirit really believes that you're sincere and you're doing the work as well toward your goals, when the floodgates open, they certainly do open. So I just thought that was, I wish I could give more details about this because it is such a wonderful story. But of course, I'm going to respect my client's privacy. Okay, let's have a look at these questions. This first question by Anchor. You're asking about The Demons of Magic by Gordon Winterfield. Apparently, I mean, I'd like to read out your question, but it's written so poorly. Hold on. Shame. Shame. You're asking me, essentially, the first ritual, you did a mistake where you wrote 3 petitions on a piece of paper, although all the petitions are related to one another, but I read later that only 1 petition at a time. What should I do now? Should I wait for 3 weeks and do the ritual again? Obviously, you've cracked out of an egg yesterday. If you're doing a ritual, you should, and it's the first time you're doing a ritual, why are you even asking, should you do it again? Of course you should do it again and again and again and again. Like, you should do it again. Why do people think that they do a ritual once and da-da, it works? I mean, now, Anchor, am I making fun of you? I don't know. You mustn't have read, I don't know, Mr. Winterfield's work of the Galleries of Magic, heard wonderful things actually about that site. Obviously, I don't work that system of magic, Anchor, because I don't work celestial magic and I don't work with the angels. I mean, obviously, you watched my video last week where I reviewed something and I said then and there, I don't work with the angels, especially now. And so I don't work with Gordon's system. Other clients of Black Witch Coven have worked with Gordon's or do work with his system and have had success. But through consultation, I know these clients are really working on other aspects of their skill building as well, such as their path working, such as their visualizations. So they're becoming stronger and stronger with every ritual they perform. And this is key. It's not one and done. When I was starting out, it wasn't even, I didn't have the expectation that, well, of course, I'd like things to manifest, but I didn't have the expectation that it should like that because I knew I was fresh and there were so many other things that I needed to really understand and I needed to be able to connect with the energy and with the magic. So I would just practice. I'd be inquisitive and curious. Unfortunately, we seem to have lost our common sense when it comes to these type of things. So look, a client recommended a video by a guy called Jareth Tempest or something. He's on YouTube. They said he broke down the ritual nicely. And they liked watching his video because he actually performed the ritual, and so he could honestly give his assessment. Your final question is, let me read what you said. This ritual is completely wasted now. Yeah, it's wasted because you're not even taking it seriously. Okay, next. The next email that I've been given to answer, I'm just going to jump straight on and off. And apparently this has been given to me because a lot of you ask about what spell should I do for such and such. Unfortunately, this person wanted a spell for Friday the 13th and didn't know what spell to do. I didn't do anything for Friday the 13th. A young lady who says, at first following the Wiccan way, but I've been more drawn to the darker nocturnal side. I just want to find some things I could do as a beginner Black Witch this Friday the 13th. Oops. I just can't seem to find anything and hoped you might be able to help me. Such as wish and money success spells, invoicing a dark goddess, invoking a dark goddess. Shame. I'm not sure there's a lot of direction on these things already. I just want to be able to put a dark element in these things. Where can I start? I'm rambling. Yeah, you are. I've done videos on this before on the Black Witch website, Black Witch Coven website. We've on the menu bar, start here. It's really quite clear. We put a lot of effort and energy into that. So I don't know why you're asking me for this. As for specific spells and rituals, we have a grimoire on there that everyone's contributing to these days. So there you go. As for what I do on Friday the 13th, nothing. It depends on the moon phase, and it also depends on the style of magic that I'm doing, but I don't do anything specific for Friday the 13th. Now, this was an interesting email, and this is from Mark, and he's in Puerto Rico. Hello, Savannah. One of the problems I've had for years is that I live in the countryside of Puerto Rico. I've neighbors who don't want me here, and one of the things that they do is leave their very loud cocks loose and harass me all day. It's like a tribe family, and they have surrounded me. They seem to have specialized acute senses, and for example, when I go to any part of the house, those who are closer go off very loud, screaming sometimes with all their might. I've tried everything. This is very corrupt. Some are Catholic, others more leaning towards Santeria, a local witchcraft, I think, but it's a secret here also. There's no way to avoid them, and they seem to enjoy the ordeal. Sometimes it seems that they are even reading my thoughts. That is why I write to you, to see if something can be done, and of course, if they can be punished. I've seen some of your videos and writings, and I think you are one of my favorites. Awesome. So here I am at your wise command. By the way, suddenly a pause, interruption, silence, or you name it, has occurred while writing this email. Well wishes, Mark. Whoo-wee. Okay, Mark. Firstly, okay, can you move? I mean, that's the quickest and easiest and maybe the most affordable answer. This is an interesting situation, and really it calls for a consultation, a personal consultation, because I'd have lots of questions for you when it comes to your specific case. But to give a generalized answer, this family, you know, the reason why they probably pause, and this isn't uncommon, is when they feel another witch, or you're connecting with another witch who's probably working in the same spiritual space that they are, it does make you pause a little bit, because when you can feel the energy of others, it's not that you're scared, but it's like, okay, this is going to go into like the next level. And hence why when we're doing a lot of, like, especially when I'm working in the Middle East or in a lot of Indian traditions, I've got to go in there veiled, because people do see me coming. They will see another witch coming, and they'll try and protect and so forth. And this is why, you know, if you can move, that's probably the best solution if you're not a practitioner and you're having this level of witchcraft all around you. It can be quite dangerous. And that goes into my next comment, is that I would be concerned, if I were you, not just of all the noise, but what they're putting on my property. So there's very heavy, especially death magic. If I have access to a property and I can bury something on that person's property, that creates a spiritual energy where it will almost torment you to death. But that energy from the tormenting of you is really going to benefit me, makes me stronger. And what it can also do is not only take out you, but take out your entire family. And the bottle spells are really big on that too. So you'll probably find already there's something planted on your property or around your property. You really have to be mindful and vigilant if there's anything new. I don't know how, that's what I mean. I'd really have to talk to you about that. But even it's not uncommon to bury the bottle under, for example, if I had access and someone had a potted plant and a big potted plant, I would have that moved, hole dug, and I'd put the bottle in that potted plant, refresh the dirt, and then pull the plant back over it. And that is really just going to keep that energy on the property and basically take out the target. In your case, the target is you. So it is a very scary situation that you're in. I'm not trying to scare you, but this is kind of the real deal if what you're saying is going on here. Now, magically, what can you do? Well, if you're not doing magic yourself at this stage, you need to go into protection mode. You should have, if you've got someone in there that a spiritual person in the community that can come and sweep the property, that's very important. But if there's something planted on your property, there's no removing that energy until you remove that item. That's how serious that is. And that's what I really feel like is going on for you on this property, okay? Whew, I mean, Witchcraft 101, fighting fire with fire in your system or that system of magic, it's a hot foot style work, and the railway spikes in the corners and all of that sort of stuff. But that's not going to work if they've actually done some strong Santeria work on your property. They have direct access to you and your property. So, okay. So, I don't know. If you're asking for more, I mean, gosh, I don't know your budget, okay? Working with us, I would say the VIP single situation work for even to get started. But this isn't just a single spell. Like, I can't just say, hey, do a protection spell that's going to fix this. This is a complex situation. So naturally, I would say you should be working with your deity. For example, I'd be working with Astaroth, I'd be working with Lucifer at the top level, and then probably doing some rituals with other demons. But I've already set a baseline, okay, with them, so I have a working relationship. So I would be expecting some level of protection. The other things you can go down into, depending on your spiritual belief system, you should always be wearing a talisman right now. But I will say that on the Black Witch Coven website, under Grimoire, in the menu bar, there has been, because spiritual attacks are common, under, where is it? Removing hexes and curses, there's a new page called Psychic and Entity Attacks. And on that page, there's some suggestions for those of you who don't practice magic, but you just want some spiritual protection. And it explains how to protect your home and how to protect your aura. And this is sort of like basic protection 101. We give you some tips there on what to do, and this will be a good band-aid for what you're going through right now. But like I said, you've got to have a proper assessment and make sure nothing's on your property like I think it is. I feel like you're already under attack, obviously, and I feel like there's something on your property, and that is the real concern. So, Mark, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck. If you can afford to move away, why go through this torment? They're not going to stop. You can distract them for a while. I don't feel like they're going to stop. But yeah, that's a really tough situation. All right, the last thing I wanted to mention was so many of you asked me for recommendations of spiritual people to visit when you come to New Orleans. I'm going to say that I met the most fabulous guy the other day. After breakfast, I was doing a little waddle around. I was looking a hot mess. In fact, I was covered in gold glitter. I try and keep it on the down low. I had a tracksuit and my baseball cap on, but like all under me, the ritual I did the night before covered me in gold glitter. And I just happened to come across this voodoo store, and it happened to be the Dark Lady of New Orleans. And a guy called Matt is a proprietor there, and he is just so knowledgeable, and just makes my little heart soar when I meet someone who is very, very spiritual and so generous with their knowledge. I just feel like if you're coming into New Orleans, try and get away from the stores in the French Quarter and get out to some of the practitioners who run their stores, and they're actually practitioners running the store, and they're going to they can share with you some of the stories. You can feel the energy when you walk into their stores because they're there working in it versus, and Marie Laveau's is great in some of the other stores in the quarter, but the owners, the practitioners aren't in there. I suppose if I had a store in the French Quarter, I'm not going to be sitting around there all day either. But what I'm sharing with the Dark Lady of New Orleans, jump on their Facebook page, and if you are coming in town, go up to what they call Uptown, and it's considered a classier part of town if you want. It's very, very safe. And go visit his little store and really see something different and hear something different, and get to meet Matt. He's just really fabulous. Have a reading. He's the real deal. Okay, so that's my little shout out. Okay, if you have a question for me, go to Ask Savannah on the website and put a little bit of effort into writing your question if you want me to answer it. Otherwise, have an awesome Sunday and catch you next time.